A Very 413 Christmas Carol from NEPM is brought to you by Scrooge and Marley. Whether you're hoarding enormous wealth or lending to the unfortunate wretches of the earth, you need accountants as unrelentingly obsessed by greed as you are. That's Scrooge and Marley, proudly serving the Valley since 1843, with offices in Amherst, Greenfield, and Longmeadow. And ask about our newest location, Hell. Very soon, we'll see you in hell. Visit ScroogeandMarley.com. Use the code AVARICE to get an NEPM member's discount.
There have been 180 Christmases celebrated since Charles Dickens published what would become the second most popular Christmas story ever told. Hundreds of adaptations have been made since then, but this is the very first time his novel has been produced as a radio play set right here in Western Mass. You're tuned to the world premiere performance of A Very 413 Christmas Carol, commissioned by New England Public Media and recorded live at Treehouse Brewing Company in South Deerfield on December 4th, starring Elizabeth Perkins as Ebeneeza Scrooge and featuring a cast of NEPM hosts, reporters, and special guests. Settle in with a mug of your favorite holiday drink and enjoy this timeless story with a festive local twist. Fenway Park organist Josh Cantor will play us in.
Marley was dead to begin with. No doubt about that. The record of his burial was signed by the minister, the Franklin County clerk, the Undertaker, the chief mourner, who was, sad fact, the only mourner. And that was Ebeneeza Scrooge, who was nearly late for the funeral due to a business meeting. I mean, it's not as if she was keeping her partner waiting. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Now, I don't mean to say that I know what there is that's particularly dead about a doornail. That is a nail that goes into a door, right? But why shouldn't the expression be as dead as a coffin nail? Look, I am not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but if we want to be sensitive about materials that truly imply deadness. Right. So the point is, everyone agreed that Marley was dead. Count on that. Because if you don't, nothing I tell you next will matter at all. So, Marley dead, and yet the sign above the door still reads Scrooge and Marley.
Good morning. How can I help you?
Very pleased to meet you. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge, or is it Mr. Marley?
Oh, Mr. Marley is dearly departed. 7 years ago this very night, God rest his soul, I'm Ms. Scrooge's clerk, Bob Cratchit.
A pleasure, Mr. Cratchit. May I have a brief word with Ms. Scrooge?
Sure thing. Let me take you to her office. Miss Scrooge, this kind gentleman desires a word.
Well, he desires more than a word by the desperate look of him.
Ms. Scrooge, if I could speak with you for just a moment, I promise to be brief. I represent a group of neighbors gathering donations to support families who are suffering this holiday season. Many are in need of basic necessities.
Well, are there no prisons?
Oh, plenty of prisons.
And the work programs? Are they still in operation?
They are still. I wish I could say they were not.
And the people living on the streets? The police come and round them up, don't they?
The courts are very busy, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. See, I was afraid from what you said at first that the system might be failing, but I am very glad to hear that things are working out just fine. Now, we'll just leave it to the government.
Ms. Scrooge, our government encourages business people like you earning a fortune, but it offers very little support for the most unfortunate. Knowing that prisons are very useful institutions, but are also not very likely to bring people holiday cheer, A few of us are collecting donations to buy poor families some food, warm clothing, even small gifts for the children. What can we put you down for?
Nothing.
Ah, how magnanimous that you wish to be anonymous in your generosity.
No. I wish to be left alone. I don't enjoy Christmas. And I can't afford to give lazy people free things so that they can enjoy it. Right? I already pay taxes to support the establishments I have mentioned. Prisons. All right? They cost enough. Those who are badly off can just go there.
But now, Miss Scrooge, many people have no reason to go to prison. And many people who do would still rather die.
Well, then they'd better do it fast. And decrease the surplus population. And anyway, it's not my business. It's enough for a person to understand their own business and not to interfere with other people's businesses. My business occupies me constantly. Good day, sir. I said good day.
Oh, she was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, that Scrooge. Squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. Hard and sharp as flint and solitary as a single withered stalk of Hadley asparagus at the end of August. No wind that ever blew was bitterer than she. No falling snow was more intent upon its frosty purpose. No pelting rain less... No, nobody liked Scrooge. Even strangers knew to avoid her gaze. And Scrooge didn't like anyone either. There was only one person of her acquaintance brave or foolish enough to try to coax her away from her office on Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Cratchit, and Merry Christmas, my dear aunt.
A very Merry Christmas to you, Frida.
Humbug.
Christmas? A humbug? Auntie, you don't mean that,
Oh,
I'm
no,
sure.
No, indeed, I do. Merry Christmas. What makes you so merry? You're as poor as a rat in the street.
Come on, what makes you so grumpy? You're as rich as the estate of Joan B. Crock.
Humbug.
Don't be such a grouch.
Well, what else should I be when I live in a world filled with fools? Merry Christmas, really? What is Christmas but a time for buying things at Thorns that you can't afford, right? And dragging yourself to boring parties you don't want to go to, and finding yourself a whole year older and no better. If I had my way, every idiot who goes around saying Merry Christmas would be sent to Tanglewood without a picnic and forced to hear a children's choir performing Wagner's operas for all of eternity. Yes, that would make me merry.
Auntie, you are horrible.
Oh, Frida, go celebrate Christmas in your own way and let me celebrate it in mine.
But you don't celebrate it at
Well,
all.
So leave me alone then. I'll bet Christmas hasn't done either one of us any good ever anyway.
Even if you don't think of Christmas as a holy day, you have to admit it's a joyful season. It's the only time of year when families and friends and colleagues all make time to get together, to share meals, go dance, sing carols. Christmas does us all good. Plenty of good.
Brava!
All right, that's enough out of you over there, Cratchit, unless you want to look for a new job in the new year. You can save all of your corny speeches for someone who cares. Life is not a Norman Rockwell painting.
Don't overthink it. Just say you'll come have Christmas dinner with us tomorrow. It'll be fun.
I'd rather have dinner with Satan.
But why?
Why? Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Oh, God, you are your mother's daughter. Sentimental fool. Good day.
Bud, what did my husband or my mother ever do to offend you so much that you won't even join us on Christmas?
Good day.
It would make my mother, your sister, so happy to see you.
Good day.
Merry Christmas, Auntie. And a Happy New Year. The same to you and yours, Mr. Cratchit.
God bless you and keep you, Frida.
You're another fool, Cratchit. You're making no money at all with a wife and a family, talking about a Merry Christmas. Yeah, nothing merry about your sad little life.
As the hours passed that afternoon, the weather outside became as cold and dark as old Scrooge's mood. Chilly winds made church bells ring ominously like loose teeth in a frozen skull. Highway crews, still widening Route 9 after more than 20 years, lit fires, desperate to warm their stiff hands. Spilled water quickly formed into misanthropic ice. But inside the shops, it was warm and glorious, with shoppers busy gathering food and gifts to bring to their dear ones. A group of children, caroling, made the rounds, pausing by Scrooge's door.
Humbug! You're going to want all day off tomorrow, aren't you, Cratchit?
If that's convenient enough.
Well, it's not convenient. It's also not fair for me to have to pay you an entire day's wages for absolutely no work.
That is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
At least I only get one paid holiday per year.
Oh, so then you look forward to picking my pocket every 25th of December. But I guess you just have to have the whole day. Just be here very early the next morning.
Yes, I'll be here bright and early. Merry... Good night, Ms. Scrooge.
Scrooge ended up having a melancholy dinner alone with her MacBook in a dark corner at the Student Prince. She read the news, doom-scrolled for a bit, and then got right back to updating her ledgers for a few more hours before finally deciding it was time to head home. Home was Marley's old apartment, a set of gloomy rooms in a building so dreary it was hard to believe that anyone would like to live there. And no one did, because Scrooge was its only occupant, and you know, she doesn't like anything. The only thing of any interest about this building was an ornate metal decoration on the front door. Who had bothered to hang it there or what the design was meant to be, I couldn't tell you. Just that it was a very noticeable fixture. And Scrooge saw it every day. But on this day, for no reason, as she was putting her key into the lock, she looked at that piece of metal and saw the face of her long-dead partner, Jacob Marley.
Marley.
Marley's face was just as she remembered. Warby Parker glasses turned up on his forehead, messy hair, eyes wide open, but, cold, dead eyes. Then suddenly the face was gone. All was normal except Scrooge, whose blood was running cold. Only for a moment, though. And then she turned the key in the lock, intending to proceed with her evening routine. She did pause just a moment to inspect the back of the door, half expecting Marley's little gray ponytail to be there.
Huh. And this is what listening to true crime podcasts on the way home will do.
Scrooge would never waste her hard-earned money on anything as frivolous as heating or lighting her home, so off she went into a cold, dark hallway. Before she settled in, she took a look around just to make sure everything was all right. Nobody was under the table. Nobody was under the sofa. Nobody was under the bed. Nobody was in the closet. Nobody was tucked in... Thank you. Yes, Scrooge was alone in her apartment. She closed the door and locked herself in. Actually, she double-locked herself in, which she never normally did. She made herself a late-night bowl of gruel, watery, with no seasoning or sauce to ruin its utter blandness. and she glanced around at the wallpaper absent-mindedly as she ate. Then, as suddenly as it had happened with the door, each floral pattern in the wallpaper rearranged itself into the face of Jacob Marley.
Humbug. Okay. This is just some side effect of Lexapro that no one warns you about.
She began pacing the room, her food forgotten, and then Scrooge heard what sounded like a wake-up alarm. But it wasn't coming from her phone, and it became a chorus. Then, an awful, dragging, clanking sound. It was foreign to her.
Well, yeah, see, this windy weather really makes a racket. Or maybe it's those darn neighbors again. I hate them.
Scrooge's door flew open. She could hear the awful noises much louder, first below, then coming up the stairs, then coming straight toward her door.
Nope, this is humbug. It's humbug, because I do not believe in ghosts.
Yeah, but she did believe. How could she not believe? Because before her, not 2 feet from her, stood the phantom form of Jacob Marley, ponytail and all.
What do you want with me?
Oh, plenty. In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Well, of course you are. I remember who you are. God. All right. Okay. Would you like a seat?
Oh.
Scrooge realized Marley might not be able to sit or want to, given he was floating around in the air like, a ghost. But he sat rather easily, as did Scrooge, quite uneasily. And so began an awkward conversation.
Well, I see you here, but I know that I'm hallucinating. You are not real. Not as real as this
She produced a small item from her pocket.
moldy old cookie.
Oh. You want to see how real I am?
Oh, I'm sure I'm dreaming this.
Oh, are you?
And Marley then twisted his face. His skin showed rotting patches and bone, raw underneath. And Scrooge tried not to show her horror.
Okay, these chains that you're carrying, what are they exactly? It's credit cards, keys, padlocks, ledgers, laptops. I see that you've taken your work to the grave.
Oh. I'm damned to wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link. Confined myself of my own free will. Doesn't it look familiar to you? You have the same chain growing inside of you right now.
Jacob Marley. Just tell me something less troubling.
No! I have nothing but trouble. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot find peace anywhere. My spirit has never left my desk.
But that's a good thing, isn't it? You were always a very dedicated businessman.
Mankind should have been my business. Caring for people should have been my trade. I've sat beside you in our office for 7 years now, every day hoping to tell you this.
7 years, really? Well, that's rude, sitting there without me knowing.
I'm here tonight to warn you, Ebeneeza, because you've still got a chance of avoiding my fate.
Okay, is your fate really that bad?
Enough! Tonight you will meet 3 spirits who will show you the way to change your sorry life. Expect the first at 1.
At 1. Okay, well, couldn't I just meet them all at once and get it over with?
No! Stop talking like a fool. Prepare yourself and remember me!
As quickly as he had come through the door, Marley flew out a window in Scrooge's room, even though the window was closed and locked, but then so was the door, still double locked as Scrooge had left it. Could this strange appearance be chalked up to something she ate, or maybe a new prescription? Scrooge's mind wandered.
Oh, whatever. I'm going to bed.
Scrooge slept just a few hours before waking, startled. She groped her way over to a window, rubbed the frost off with her sleeve, and looked out at a cold and lifeless scene. The church's clock, just visible in the moonlight, read midnight. She got back into bed. She thought, and the more she thought, the more perplexed she was. The more she tried not to think, the more she thought. Marley's ghost really bothered her a lot. Her cycling thoughts only stopped spinning when she heard the clicking of her old bedside clock telling her the hour had finally changed.
It's 1.
Instantly, a hand touched her face, not her own hand. Scrooge found herself face to face with a smiling visitor, human in form, small, like the size of a child, but with the physical attributes of an adult, and not obviously male or female, long white hair, really radiant skin. The visitor was wearing a long tunic trimmed with flowers, and overall you might say she was vibing fairy creature.
Are you the spirit that my friend Marley sent to me?
I am.
Oh, and who and what are you?
You can call me the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past, because you're a very small person.
No, your past, silly Ebeneeza.
Is there any chance that you could turn down the light of your skin?
Ooh, the light is annoying you. This pure, full spectrum light I'm giving, I'm already wearing clothes to dim it for you. I could just take them off and you could see a lot more light. More light.
No. Sorry to offend. Please stay like this because I appreciate you as you are. Why are you here?
For you, I came to make sure you're well.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you to visit, but don't you think letting me get back to sleep would be more conducive to my feeling well?
Ebeneeza, you really are a silly goose. I came to make sure that you're well forever, not just tonight. Let's get going.
Listen. I'd love to hang out with you, if only for the story to tell later. You know, ghost stories are great. But it's cold and it's late, and my neighbors really don't need to see me in my pajamas.
Come over to the window.
No, the window? No way. I'm mortal. I could fall, and I do not like heights.
Don't be a scaredy cat. When you touch my hand, you'll fly with me.
And with the spirit's tap, they flew through the closed window, just as Marley did before, and they were instantly transported to a country road on a clear, cold winter day.
Holy humbug! This is where I'm from. I grew up right here.
Your lip looks a little shaky. And what's that on your cheek?
Nothing. It's nothing. Where are we going?
I'm sure you can show me the way. Remember,
I could walk it blindfolded.
So the problem isn't that you've forgotten your way home then.
They walked toward a cluster of buildings. Scrooge recognized every person, every place, everything, even the sounds and the somewhat cloying smells around them.
Is that balsam and cedar? Maybe holiday sage? Definitely Yankee Candle.
There were adults chatting, boys playing, girls singing carols.
Oh, there's my uncle. Wow. But he doesn't see us.
Those are just shadows, silly. They're only real in your mind.
Scrooge's heart was full seeing all the familiar faces. But then they came to an empty building, or so it seemed.
My school.
A solitary girl, so quiet. She has no friends, is waiting there.
No friends. I know.
They walked inside. It was a large old house in bad repair, and in a bare, cold room, there was only one girl sitting at a little desk.
My family didn't send for me. But I had my books. I loved books. Read everything in the library. Jane Eyre, Pride and Prejudice, Mrs. Dalloway. I imagined all these lives I would live when I left that school. Poor kids. Well, it's too late now.
What's too late?
Nothing. There were some kids singing Christmas carols at my door yesterday, and I should have given them something. That's all.
Sure. Let's go see another Christmas.
And the spirit took Scrooge's hand. They traveled to that same room. Only years later, it was darker and drearier. Young Scrooge was older and sadder, too.
Alone again. Here. Why, all the other kids went home for the holidays.
Not all alone, though, were you?
Scrooge glanced anxiously towards the door. It opened and a girl bounded through.
Dear, dear sister, I have so many hugs and so many kisses for you. I've come to bring you home. To bring you home, home, home.
Home, little fan?
Yes, home for good. Home forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. He's been so kind, I was not afraid to ask him if you could come home. And he said, yes, you should. And he sent me to bring you. And you never have to come back here. But first, we're going to have the merriest Christmas ever.
You've got it all planned.
She did take you home then. She seems like fun.
She did. She was.
Why don't you spend Christmas together anymore?
She and I, let's just go see another Christmas.
If you want.
Then they flew to a busy city street, finally stopping at a wide door. And just inside it sat a big man in a pink, purple, velvet suit, calling out across the room in this oily, rich, fat, jovial voice.
Hey there, Ebeneeza, Richard.
Oh my gosh, that's Fezziwig. You know, I worked for him right after college and never forgot him. Ah, what a character. Oh, and Richard Wilkins, too. There he is. Ah, we were best friends, always went out together. We were so young then.
Now, I'm serious. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Richard. Christmas, Ebeneeza. Let's push these desks away and get the party started before you can say another beer here.
Hey, you two turned that office into a dance floor in a minute flat.
In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one giant smile. In came the 3 young Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came the 6 young men whose hearts they broke. In came everyone employed with the company. In came the interns, one brought her cousin, the woman from the cafeteria, the team from the mailroom, and that hot UPS guy everyone just was always looking at. In came the new girl from accounting and that man from the sandwich shop across the door. A lot of people came. Some shyly, some boldly, some gracefully, some awkwardly, some pushing, some pulling. They all came in. Okay? Anyhow and everyone.
Last one on the dance floor is a rotten egg.
He is fun. I love that Mr. Fuzzywiggles a lot.
Fuzzywiggles? His name is Mr. Fezziwig. That's his name. Oh, God, we danced all night at that party.
And more than danced. Some of those couples anyway.
It's true. Many kisses were stolen.
Or just given out for free.
Hey, don't forget, there's a feast here, too. There's roast beef, cheeses, vegetarian pad thai. My wife's bakery made the pies and cakes, and we have some salads, too. It's a whole table right over there. Go take a look.
What a guy. I bet he'd even add gluten-free and vegan options if he were still around.
Well, they did know how to entertain Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig. Ugh, and look at the calves on that woman.
She spins like a top.
I don't know how old she was then, but I know she could still dance as well as her daughters. Both of them could, the Fezziwigs.
Hey, come on. Let's have some more of that special treehouse beer. Oh, and listen, if there's any left over at the end of the party, I'm going to be very, very cross with you youngsters. The whiskey, well, you leave that to us old men. We'll take care of it.
Scrooge relived the party, every song, every bite of food, every smile of a friend. Finally, Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig stood by the door, receiving many thanks and thanking their staff for all the work they've done during the year, wishing every guest a good night. and a Merry Christmas.
Such a small thing to make all these people so thankful.
Small? How's it small?
Very small. Fezziwig only spent a few thousand of your mortal dollars to throw a party. Is that really so impressive?
Well, it isn't about what he spent on this party. No, they're thanking him for who he was to us. Fezziwig gave us jobs, good jobs, and he had the power to make our jobs, our lives, really, a good time or a grind. What he gave us was huge. What he gave us is everything.
You sound a little funny. What's the matter?
Nothing in particular.
You sure?
Yes, I just would like to say something to my clerk. That's all.
We don't have much more time. Let's go.
With just a tap of the ghost's hand, the pair then moved to a quiet city park. Scrooge, now closer to 30 years old, sat on a bench beside a beautiful young woman.
It doesn't matter. I don't make you happy anymore. I can't. I've been replaced.
You think some other woman has replaced you?
No, your job has taken my place. Work is your true love.
I asked you to marry me because I loved you, Belle.
Loved. You did love me. Then, I believed that. And we both wanted to work, to save money, to build a life together, but you kept saving, and we never started building. And now where's our life?
Have I ever said that I wanted to break our engagement?
You haven't said it, but your actions do. I only see you late at night when you're tired, you have no energy. Even on the weekends, you're always distracted, thinking about work, talking about work. Your only friends are your colleagues. If we met today, you wouldn't even ask me out, let alone propose to me.
You don't think so?
I wish I could, but I know better. If you were free, you'd just work without any distractions, and someday, if you wanted someone in your life, you'd find another Eisenberg MBA so that you could combine your fortunes together. I don't have anything that you want.
Belle, that's not true.
Look, I know this hurts and I'm sorry, but tomorrow you'll be back at the office forgetting all about me. You've done it before, and you'll do it again. I love you, Ebeneeza, but that's not enough to fix this. And don't call me. It'll just make it worse if I expect you might, and then you don't. And Merry Christmas.
Come on.
Why did you have to show me this? Why? We were having such a great time at Fezziwig's. Why couldn't we stop there and not get into all of this?
We still have one more stop.
No, that's enough. I want to go back to bed.
Not yet.
They were off again with the tap of the spirit's hand. They found themselves in a living room. It wasn't lavish, but it was cozy and warm and full of laughter, much of it coming from a girl with a familiar face.
Belle? Why are we seeing her childhood now?
Just wait.
An older woman appeared, and this was Belle. It was her home. These were her children, a couple of boys and a girl, laughing and roughhousing.
I like this new game. We can call it Socks and Monsters, maybe. Just be sure you don't completely destroy the house before everyone comes over for Christmas dinner.
It was chaos, and it was fun. And then a guest? No, it was just their dad, playing a little joke before he came bouncing into the room. His arms were filled with brightly colored packages and bags of food.
Attack him!
And they did. They climbed all over their defenseless pop, trying to disarm him of all his treats and his treasures. There were shouts of wonder and delight that went up with each package received. There was one brief, terrible announcement that the baby had been observed in the act of putting a doll's frying pan into its mouth, and then was suspected of having swallowed a tiny plastic turkey previously glued on a wooden platter. That was followed quickly by the immense relief of finding this was a false alarm. The turkey was found intact. The baby was not choking.
Well, that was a close one. There's a lot going on here. So is this Belle's husband?
Was everything all right at the store after I went home?
Oh, yeah. We all got to leave early. And I had plenty of time to do all of this shopping. Oh, which reminds me, I saw an old friend of yours today.
No, who?
Guess. Really old. Haven't spoken in decades.
I don't know. Did Uma Thurman come back for the holiday concert at Amherst Regional Middle School? She really did sit next to me in geometry, you know.
Guess again. It's someone local.
Maybe one of the Fezziwigs? The one who owns that beautiful bakery. What was her name? Oh, wait, did you bring us a cake?
Well, no, you're spoiling a surprise. I did buy a cake, but sadly I didn't get to see Miss Fezziwig. It was your old fiancé that I saw, Ebeneeza Scrooge.
Ebeneeza. Wow, thought she was a total recluse. Well, what'd she say?
We didn't speak. I just saw her through her office window as I was passing by. But then a teller at the bank happened to mention that Jacob Marley has been at Bay State, sick to the point of death for a week. And she hasn't even bothered to visit him. Couldn't care less. You were right about her, about not marrying her.
I'm very sorry about all that.
Hey, you're sorry that you didn't marry her?
No, of course not. I married the right person. I'm sorry Ebeneeza hasn't changed, that she's all alone in the world, and soon she won't even have Marley around.
We have to leave. Now. This is just cruel.
I told you these are shadows of the past. They are what they are. You can't blame me.
Leave me. This isn't helping me feel better.
Okay, then.
A bright light blasted from the spirit's skin, and as Scrooge covered her eyes, she became conscious of being exhausted, overcome by drowsiness. She realized that she was lying in her own bed, where she immediately sank into a heavy sleep. Scrooge snorted herself awake. If you know, you know. She startled herself. She opened her eyes wide. She did not want to be caught off guard by the next spirit. Scrooge was never what you might call a free and easy sort of person, the type who knows the moves, as they say, one who can roll with the punches, if you will. A woman, with a knack for a certain... But she did have a remarkably lively imagination, and she was ready in that moment for a range of strange things to appear. Nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished her. Even a baby rhinoceros probably would have been odd, but not totally beyond the question. Okay, fine. Being prepared for almost anything, Scrooge was not by any means prepared for nothing to happen. And nothing happened. Not for a while. An hour must have passed before she finally heard some sounds from the hallway and noticed a light shining from under her bedroom door. She got up. And the moment she put her hand on the doorknob to turn it, a booming voice called out to her.
Ebeneeza, girl, it's about time you got up.
Scrooge opened the door to a room transformed into a lush garden. Every surface covered in green, holly, mistletoe, evergreen branches, heaped on the floor to form a kind of throne. And there were turkeys, geese, poultry, great roasts of meat, suckling pigs, long wreaths of sausages, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, cherry-cheeked apples, juicy oranges, luscious pears. I could eat. It was huge and relaxing atop this enormous edible couch. There was a jolly giant, glorious to see.
Come on in, take a seat. Let's have a chat.
Okay, hello there.
Hola yourself, Ebeneeza. Don't be shy, chica. I'm the ghost of Christmas present. Ven acá, take a good look.
Okay. You certainly are a robust presence.
You get me. I've always been tall for my age. All my life, I've got this great green robe with fur trim.
Yeah.
It's a memorable look, right?
Yeah.
And it's very comfortable this time of year.
Right.
Nothing underneath the robe, just so you know. Don't even need shoes. It keeps me so warm. People always ask how I get my hair to fall like this, and I promise you the curls and the shine, it's all natural. I'm born with it.
Oh, yeah?
You've never seen anyone that looks like me, have you?
No, I haven't. I'd be lying if I said I had.
I have some older siblings. We look a little bit alike, but you haven't met them?
Never, because I'm sure that I would remember. How many siblings do you have?
Maybe 1,800 or so.
Okay.
Give or take a few dozen.
Wow, that's a big family. How did your father provide? Was he in biotech?
Aye, Ebeneeza, you asked the wrong questions. Here's a better one. You have a nickname?
God, no, never had.
Let me think about it. Ebs.
No.
Knees.
No.
Kneeser.
No.
Ebsy.
Stop. All right, the last spirit that visited me was incredibly cruel, but I learned some things about myself. So if you want to teach me something, maybe we should just get started with that.
Oh, I promise I'm not cruel, but we do have some business to attend to, so touch my robe when you're ready to start.
Scrooge did as she was instructed, and they found themselves in a town square. Not an especially nice one, but not unfriendly. It felt familiar. Another rotary was being constructed at a main intersection. The streets, the houses, they were pretty shabby. Honestly, not much better than shacks and alleys, but children played happily in drifts of snow. And even the adults returning from work made fun, tossing snowballs at one another, laughing, however ragged their coats, however light their grocery bags. And there were grocers there. They were cheap, but there were ample wares.
Ooh, check out those big, ruddy Spanish onions just shining in their fatness like a bunch of Spanish friars. They're winking from the shelves with wanton slyness at the girls going by, begging to be taken home in paper bags, sweated in sweet, creamy butter.
You know, I would not have guessed anyone could get so excited by onions.
They have some very attractive produce here. Ugh, I love grocery stores. If I could work in one myself, I'd, sell a lot of food.
What do you have there? What are you holding?
Oh, this torch? I bring it, and when I see someone with food they're gonna eat at Christmas, I shake it just a little bit right over the food. And, well, I don't know for sure, but I'm told that it makes the food taste really, really good. And when you eat it, it makes you not want to fight with anyone you're eating with, and you just like them more, and you feel great.
I like that. A magical torch. I want one.
I see. I use it as much as I can.
Wait, whose house are we visiting?
Neezy, you've never been to Bob Cratchit's place? He's worked for you for so long.
No, we don't visit each other at home.
Get disappointment, truly.
Easy?
I'm trying it out.
Yeah, well, don't, okay? I don't need a nickname. No nicknames.
They arrived at the Cratchit house. As the family was preparing dinner, Mrs. Cratchit looked tired but festive. Her dress was a few years old, but she had freshened it up with some accessories. Her two daughters were similarly dressed in cheap and cheerful clothes, and the three bustled around with the tablecloth, the dishes, a few half-burned down candles. Her oldest child, Peter, stirred a pot of potatoes on the stove, and her youngest, Tiny Tim, and her husband, Bob, were not home yet.
Oh, thank you all for being such good helpers here. I'm sorry we weren't able to get a turkey this year.
We don't need a turkey. We'll have a feast, even without it.
That we will. Clearly, you have met me before. Now, kids, don't work so hard now. Sit by the fire and warm yourselves. I'll finish setting this table. What could be delaying your father?
As soon as she said it, Bob came in, and his threadbare blazer patched up at the elbows to look reasonably appropriate for going out. Tiny Tim was riding on his shoulders, holding onto a little crutch. His small limbs were supported by an iron frame.
Merry Christmas. Is everyone home from work now?
All of us are home and getting ready for dinner, dear. How did our Tiny Tim behave at church?
Good as gold. He sang every song, made everyone remember the true spirit of Christmas. Our big boy.
I did, Mama. And we got a goose.
A goose? For us?
It is a great big goose.
A Christmas goose. So Ms. Scrooge finally opened the coffers for once and gave you a bonus this year.
Something like that.
I'll get the oven ready.
The whole family got to work cooking and then eating, and they ate fast, but they didn't rush away from the table.
I've never seen people so hungry and so happy with their meal. They've left barely an atom of bone on the dishes.
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Everyone.
God bless Mama and Papa 2 times for taking care of all of us. And God bless the goose, too, for being so delicious.
Spirit, what is the matter with Tiny Tim? He's such a smart boy.
Tiny Tim is a sick child, and his family can't afford the treatment he would need to grow or walk like other children. It'd be best for him to die and decrease the surplus population, right?
Oh, no, that isn't what I meant when I said that. I mean, not Cratchit's son.
Some poor children go to prison, and some should just die. Isn't that your idea?
Scrooge bent low as she absorbed the terrible meaning of her own words, and then she heard her name.
Let's toast to Ms. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
Okay, that's fair. She did finally give you a bonus.
Well, no. Some generous people raised the money, pushing shopping carts from Springfield to Greenfield. That bought the goose for our family, and for many others too, bless them. But still, Ms. Scrooge does employ me, and she did give me the holiday off too.
That awful old Scrooge! The founder of the feast, my foot. I wish I had her here. I'd give her something to feast on, and I'd like to watch her eat it.
My dear, please, the children. It's Christmas.
There isn't any day when I will drink to the health of such a stingy, hard, unfeeling woman as Ebeneeza Scrooge. You know she is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you.
It is Christmas.
We both work an honest day. Your daughter, Martha, too. Your son, Peter, is about to leave school and go to work. And her? She just collects more and more money and shares less and less with the people that make her good fortune possible.
In Christmas charity?
In Christmas charity, I will drink to this horrible woman. I will drink to her health for your sake and the day's, but not for hers. Long life to her. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. She'll be very merry and very happy, no doubt.
Cheers.
After their mother, the children drank to the toast, but without any of their previous enthusiasm. Scrooge was obviously the monster of the family. The mere mention of her name was a shadow cast over their party that it took some time to lift, but it did lift, and they resumed their fun, singing and telling stories late into the evening.
The Cratchits are not a well-off family. They have tattered clothes. They definitely know the inside of a pawn shop, but they have love.
Yeah, they do. But now we've got to go, Njiiri.
No, stop with the Njiiri. Where are we going now? Frida? Her Christmas party?
Yeah, it's time for you to visit your niece. I love that girl.
She said that Christmas was a humbug. She believed it, too.
You said that?
I did, I said that.
I missed that. What is a humbug anyway?
Well, it's a word I probably overuse. Yeah, instead of a curse word. Yeah, humbug.
Ooh, Frida's husband is a whole snack.
A snack? What is that? I don't know what a snack is.
It means he looks good, Njiiri.
Oh,
He seems pretty nice, too.
She can be a funny old lady type. To tell the truth, she's not nice. But her bad vibes are their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against her.
To say your aunt is not nice is a huge understatement. She abandoned her own family as soon as she had a penny to her name. Left us without looking back. Didn't come to your wedding. Didn't even send you a gift. And it's not as if she couldn't afford it.
Mom, I know. You're right. But what's the difference? Her having all the money, she doesn't use it for good, and she doesn't spend it on herself either. It might as well not exist. I honestly feel sorry for Aunt Scrooge. She lives alone and won't even have company on Christmas. What a sad existence.
It's true. My sister is missing a very good dinner.
I'm so glad to hear you say it. I didn't have much faith in these new recipes we tried today.
I sprinkled their food with my torch on our way in. It made everything tan rico.
Well played.
All joking aside, I hope someday Auntie Scrooge will come for Christmas dinner. And maybe she will finally give poor old Bob Cratchit a holiday bonus.
Will you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, before Scrooge could think much more about it, the family began to sing carols, and then they played children's games, which it turns out were great fun for adults because all these adults were now rather drunk.
Ooh, I love games. Now they're doing one called Yes or No.
Mm-hmm.
Someone thinks of something, and everyone else asks questions to guess it.
Oh.
Is it an animal?
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Is it a children's book author?
Is it rain? Apples?
Can it bark?
I think I know the answer.
Do you?
Oh, Frida, is it who I think it is?
Yes, it's Aunt Scrooge.
She's a vicious animal, that's for sure.
Okay, I know I made the joke, but I do think we should all drink to her health. To Auntie Scrooge.
To Auntie Scrooge.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old bird, wherever she is.
Old bird? Well, I guess maybe I could consider dropping by Frida's, maybe just for drinks and not have to stay for dinner. Or I could. It seems like they need some help with the games, with all those stupid wrong answers.
Scrooge turned to look for her jolly companion, but the spirit was gone. Everything was darkness now. She was alone until she saw a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a mist along the ground towards her.
That is Fenway Park organist Josh Cantor at the keys. You're listening to A Very 413 Christmas Carol, commissioned by New England Public Media and recorded live at Treehouse Brewing Company in South Deerfield, Mass., starring Elizabeth Perkins as Scrooge alongside a cast of NEPM hosts, reporters, and special guests. If you missed part of the show or want to listen again, it's available on demand on our YouTube channel and on our website, nepm.org/413Christmas. Now, don't let any ghosts scare you away. We'll be right back.
You're listening to 88.5 NEPM, WFCR FM and HD Amherst, and WNNZ 640 AM Westfield. A Very 413 Christmas Carol is made possible with the generous support of Jackson and Connor, the Pioneer Valley Chinese Immersion Charter School, Dean's Beans Organic Coffee, Greenfield Savings Bank, Northeast Solar, and Fezziwig's Self-Storage. When you need to make space in your home for a nursery, an office, or best of all, installing an in-home bar complete with beer on tap and a whiskey wall, you can bring everything you want to keep right over to us. Fezziwig's Self-Storage will take good care of all your vintage treasures and sentimental trinkets. And when you visit, be sure to stop by Miss Fezziwig's Bakery right next door. Mention the word Mary to get a free vegan, gluten-free cookie with your order. Fezziwig's Self-Storage. It's the most fun you can have when you're boxing up a bunch of stuff.
This is the world premiere performance of A Very 413 Christmas Carol, starring Elizabeth Perkins as Ebeneeza Scrooge and featuring many voices you know as hosts, reporters, and special guests on NEPM. Recorded live at Treehouse Brewing Company in South Deerfield, Mass. If you missed part of the show or want to hear it again, it's available on demand on our YouTube channel and on our website, nepm.org/413Christmas. And now, having journeyed far with Scrooge as she met the ghosts of Christmas past and Christmas present, we return to a much more ominous encounter.
A deep black garment concealed the phantom's form. It was difficult to detach the figure from the night, to separate it from darkness itself. Scrooge told herself. The ghost was tall and stately when it came beside her, but its presence filled her with dread.
All right. Let me guess. You're the ghost of Christmas future, and... Okay. You're gonna show me things that haven't happened yet.
Scrooge thought she saw a tiny nod. Although she was used to ghostly company by now, she feared that this worldless shape so much that her legs trembled and she found she could hardly walk. However ominous this spirit appeared, it was kind enough to wait for a slow-moving woman.
Hey, so, I'm not feeling very comfortable with this setup. I know that you came to help me, and I do want your help, but don't you think it would be easier if we just talked? Okay, good talk. So let's go then.
The phantom moved away. Its long robe caught Scrooge and carried her along. They reached a street not far from Scrooge's office, not many years from now.
Nah, I don't know much about it. I only know she's dead.
Dead? When did she die?
Last night, I think. I heard it on 88.5 this morning.
Why? What was the matter with her? I thought she'd never die.
Who knows?
Look, what's going to happen with all her money?
I haven't heard. She left it to her company, maybe? She didn't leave it to me, that's all I know.
That will be a cheap funeral. I don't know anybody who'd go.
Maybe we should go, just to see what it's like.
I don't mind going if the lunch is good, but I must be fed if I go.
Well, I don't have the right clothes. I never eat lunch, but I'll still go out of curiosity. I might have been her best friend anyway. She did say good morning to me once in the parking lot at the Big Y.
Good morning. Good morning. That's two more kind words than she ever said to the rest of us. You are her best friend.
Now that's a real jerk they're talking about. At least I'm not that rude.
The spirit was unmoved by Scrooge's opinion, or rather, it was silent. It did move to an obscure town where Scrooge had never been before, but she still recognized it right away as a sketchy place. The streets were grimy, they were narrow, and the shops and houses were wretched. The people were half naked, drunk, and ugly, and everything there was crooked and cracked, and it reeked with crime, with filth and misery. It was so lowbrow that even the cats and the dog... Thank you. It wasn't a nice place, let's just say. They went into an awful little shop run by an unseemly old rascal, arriving just as a woman carrying a heavy bag slunk in the door, and she had scarcely entered when a man in a dark suit appeared with a smaller bag. The two were briefly startled to see each other, and then they broke out in laughs.
No sense pretending to be sorry about selling her things. Everyone has a right to take care of themselves. She always did. Never paid us well to clean her house, so now I cleaned it out.
You can't take it with you. And she didn't have anyone to give it to anyway. Might as well be us who takes it. It's what we call a Christmas bonus in the funeral business.
Come in, come in. Let's see what you've got. Lay everything out so I can see it.
See, that one woman looks a little familiar to me, but I can't place her. I don't know the other one.
No one would have wanted anything to remember her by. I think selling it off is the truest way to honor her greedy spirit.
Ha! It's the truth. There weren't even enough people at the funeral to carry her coffin out. I had to help.
All right, we have the silverware, the boots. I'll write her a separate receipt for each of you to get your payments. A silver watch, a pair of gold earrings, very nice. The curtains? You took them down, rings and all, with her lying right there?
Yes, I did, and why not?
You were born to make a fortune, and today, my friend, you'll certainly do it.
Listen, it would have been a waste burying the ugly old monster in such a nice dress and jewelry. At least now I'll get some money and someone else might like to wear it.
Recycle, reuse.
Huh. You know, I admit that I have been greedy, but I would never steal from a dead person or sell anything that was stolen. Why do you show me all of this terrible business? Why are we here?
Y'all probably know why. Scrooge was not catching on to the spirit's approach. She just kept asking questions, and the spirit would never reply, obviously. But it did change the scene. Now they visited a dark room where a body was lying lifeless on a bed.
No. This is even worse. Why would I want to see a dead body? This is the woman, right? The one they were talking about, who had no friends or family or housekeeper, and the Undertaker robbing her the minute she passed.
The spirit remained silent as ever, but gestured toward the body.
Oh, no, I'm not going closer. I can't. I will not see her face. Okay, I know the lesson you want to teach me, but I need to change my ways, I get it, so that I will not be alone, like she is. But if there is anyone who feels something about the death of this lonely person, however flawed she was, please show me that. I want to see another side of this story.
The spirit moved them to Bob Cratchit's house. Scrooge recognized the place immediately, but the family had changed. They had been so loud and merry when she saw them last, and now they sat together, but each one was clearly alone with their thoughts. As was the case before, all the family was present except Bob and Tiny Tim.
The Cratchits. How did they know this terrible woman who died?
Your father should be home any minute now.
Papa walks a little slower these last few weeks. I'll put away my books. I don't want to upset him.
He's not happy that you had to leave school, but he's not unhappy to see you study. It's a good idea, Peter.
I know. It's just that he's had enough to feel bad about. I didn't want to remind him.
Oh, your father walked home very fast when he would walk with Tiny Tim on his shoulders. He would walk very fast.
He did. Tiny Tim demanded speed.
Wait, Tim is not on his father's shoulders now? So the boy can walk again, see? Oh, this would be the happy Christmas miracle that changes the whole story.
Hello?
Where's the kid? Where's Tiny Tim? Why didn't Tiny Tim follow his father inside?
Did you stop again to see him on your way home, Bob?
I did. Brought a flower to him, too. It was peaceful there, where he's resting. I think he's peaceful there. Our little boy.
Tiny Tim is in the hospital? Is he too sick to leave? Oh, no. Let's bring him back home to his family. Spirit person. That little boy is too young to stay in the hospital all alone.
I also stopped to talk with Ms. Scrooge's niece, Frida. Even though she barely knows me, and she hasn't met any of you, she sent her sincerest condolences to us all.
Condolences? Oh, no. Spirit, no, not the boy. Not dead. This just can't be.
Frida is lovely. She told me that I should write to her if she can help our family in any way. With her connections, I think she might be able to help Peter find a good job. Maybe even something union.
That would be great.
Frida sounds like a really good person, truly. Nothing at all like her aunt, jeez.
Now, we must not speak ill of the departed. Rest both their souls. Our Tiny Tim and Ms. Scrooge.
No.
I know you're right.
No, I am the
but...
dead woman, the hated, lonely jerk whose horrible death made people laugh, knowing that they'd never see my face again. And young Tim.
Scrooge closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, she was standing in a graveyard beside the still unspeaking spirit. There were no flowers laid on any of the graves. It was a dark, messy, forgotten corner. It was a place for the forgotten.
The other spirits told me that nothing I saw was real. only shadows of what was, not real. So this is not the future yet, right? Right? None of this has really happened yet. This future can be changed. This is like a first draft, a run-through where you cue the music. I still have time. I can change. I can change. I want to change. I will change. I can change. I can change.
Scrooge awoke in her bed. Her bed!
I'm alive. I'm alive. I can change. Oh, Jacob Marley. Jacob Marley, thank you. Thank you. And all of you spirit people. Even that last weird one. You showed me how much I need to change. And right now. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas after all.
Oh, jeez, save it for later, St. Nick.
Oh, God,
Damn
I'm
it,
sorry.
some of us are still trying to sleep.
All right, sorry to wake you. Sorry, but not really sorry. I do not want to miss even a moment of this beautiful Christmas day.
Scrooge started getting dressed. She was overjoyed to see all her clothes were there. Her abandoned bowl of gruel was on the counter. Not one thing was out of place or missing. Soon enough, the streets were coming to life, and the church bells were ringing out the lustiest peals she had ever heard. Clash, clang, hammer, ding, dong, bell, bell. Dong, ding, hammer, clang, clash. Oh, glorious, glorious clash. Bing bong. Can a person enjoy some bells? All right, then. Scrooge dressed and dipped down to the street.
Hello there, young man.
Hello, old lady.
Good one. Hey, do you know the butcher shop 2 streets over, the one at the corner?
I think I do.
Oh, you see, my guy. Do you know if they have sold that big Diamond Farm turkey in the window?
The one that's big as me?
The big one.
It's hanging there now. I saw it on the way over here.
Oh, would you go and buy it for me and tell them to deliver it to the address that I just wrote on this paper? Oh, and are you good with numbers?
Good with numbers. I passed math this year.
Passed math. Oh, that's good. Okay, you go convince the shop to deliver the turkey in less than 30 minutes, and I will give you and the delivery guy a nice, juicy tip. Each of you get 20% of the price. Cash. Can you do that math?
You'll give me 20% just to order the turkey? Lady, are you crazy?
Yes, I am.
Scrooge handed the boy a stack of cash. He ran off like a shot to get that turkey, and it was a huge turkey. I could just write poetry about such a bird. But not now. Now, because we must get to the end of this tale. Scrooge, she was a new woman. She walked down the street with a huge smile, knowing she'd sent the Cratchits the makings of a good meal, and Scrooge had not gone far when, walking straight towards her, she saw the same gentleman who'd been to her office collecting donations for the poor.
My friend, my glorious friend, how are you this morning? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you to spend your time doing that work.
Is it Ms. Scrooge?
Yep, that's me. It's me. I know you were hoping to forget my name, for sure. I'm sorry for the way I acted. I am. I've changed my mind about everything. In fact, I would very much like to make a very large donation, if it's not too late.
Oh, it's not too late. Never too late. I have your address already, and you can just sign your name here. And then note, right there, the amount that you can pledge.
Scrooge pulled a pen from her purse, did as she was asked, and returned the paper to the man.
Miss Scrooge, is this a joke?
No, it's not a joke. Not at all. I swear on my life that you will get every penny if you come around to my office. Ton of back payments are included in that amount and some interest owed as well. And it's a start.
I just don't know what to say.
Well, don't say anything, please. Just come and see me. You'll come and see me.
Oh, yes,
right?
yes, I
Please?
will. I will. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas! God, I'm grateful. Thank you for letting me pay at least some of what I owe. And a Merry Christmas!
And Scrooge walked on through the streets with an even bigger smile, taking in everything she saw as if it were the first time, like a newborn babe, that one, a very, very old newborn babe. When she arrived at her destination, it took her a few tries to gather the courage to knock on the door.
Auntie Scrooge? You came. Oh, Frida, that's no joke to make. Ebeneeza.
I hope I am not too early. If the invitation stands, I'm here for dinner. You still have room for one more?
Oh, we have plenty. You are very welcome. Come, sit with me, Ebeneeza. We have so much to talk about.
And in 5 minutes, she felt right at home. Her past offenses were never mentioned, only how happy it was to be together now. Everything at the party was exactly as she had seen it when she visited with the spirit, so much so that Scrooge had to hold back from giving all the right answers during the games, having heard them all before. And of course, in this version, the teasing she endured was gentle, and the toasts made entirely genuine.
To a wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful family, wonderful happiness.
The next morning, Scrooge was early at the office, planning to catch Bob Cratchit coming late. She had her heart set on that, and Bob was late, a full 18 and a half minutes behind. Scrooge was counting, sitting with her office door wide open so that she could see Bob the moment he arrived.
Oh, hello. I see you decided to come to work after all, but how dare you be so late this morning?
Miss Scrooge, I am so sorry. I know I'm very late.
Very. Step into my office, Cratchit, because we need to talk.
It's only once a year that I have a little too much fun in the evening. It will not be repeated, I promise.
Yeah, I will not stand for it.
Miss Scrooge, please.
No, not a word until I finish, Cratchit. I'll tell you what. I am about to raise your salary and give you a Christmas bonus. And I insist that you do repeat that part about having fun in the evening and not only once a year, because I am adding a few more paid holidays to your schedule. What do you say to that? Yeah? I say, I can see that you're driving a very hard bargain there, Cratchit. And I see where this is going. You don't have to spell it out for me, okay? We will decide about the salary, the bonus, the new schedule, because we will be partners now. Scrooge and Cratchit. Or maybe even Cratchit and Scrooge, if you insist. Now, do we have a deal?
Bob wondered if he was dreaming or hallucinating. Did he really have that much to drink last night? Did his wife put something stronger in the gin punch?
And that's because it's a Merry Christmas, Bob! All right, here's all the paperwork already prepared. I had a feeling our negotiations would go this way. You take it home, look it over with your family, and we can pick up our business tomorrow. But before you go, I would like to buy you a meal to celebrate. Are you hungry?
Very.
Hearing how earnest she became and having the contract right there in his hands, Bob finally understood she was serious. And Scrooge was better than her word. The donations, the partnership with Cratchit, she did it all and infinitely more. And Tiny Tim did not die. With treatment, his condition improved so much that now he can walk on his own, and to his friends at school, he's just Tim. But his family still calls him Tiny, with love. Sure, there were always people in town who remembered the mean old Ebeneeza, and some of them would make some snappy remarks about her saintly conversion. This didn't bother her a bit.
I pity them. Of course, they're hoping to look smart, but it's always better to be kind. To welcome strangers, to make friends, to open your heart, to be humble, and to always raise a glass. And you know, if you can't think of anything nice to say about someone when it's time to toast, just quote our Tiny Tim.
God bless us, every one.
That was the world premiere performance of A Very 413 Christmas Carol, commissioned by New England Public Media and recorded live at Treehouse Brewing Company in South Deerfield, Massachusetts, starring Elizabeth Perkins as the Ebeneeza Scrooge and featuring, in order of appearance, Jill Kaufman as the narrator, Monte Belmonte as Bob Cratchit, Josh Simpson as the charitable gentleman, Carrie Saldo as Frida, Nowacki as Jacob Marley, and Fezziwig, Carrie Healy as the ghost of Christmas past, and a business person, Marla Zippay as Fan and the housekeeper, Emily Brewster as young Scrooge and Tiny Tim, Elizabeth Román as the ghost of Christmas present, Belle, and the Undertaker, Kari Njiiri as Belle's husband and a business person, Callie Smith as Mrs. Cratchit, Salman Hamid as Peter Cratchit, and Matt Abramovitz as the rascal and the boy. Live music on the keyboard was performed by Josh Cantor. Our play was written and directed by Jennifer Kinney Sandro. Ricardo Fernandez created the sound design and produced this radio broadcast. Our live sound engineers were Danny Bernini and Caleb Rosasa. Our production team included Vanessa Cirillo, Tony Dunn, Bart Rankin, Dave Sears, and Erin Sniffen. I am Raquel Obregon. Special thanks to Treehouse Brewing Company and to Jackson and Connor, Pioneer Valley Chinese Immersion School, Dean's Beans Organic Coffee, Greenfield Savings Bank, and Northeast Solar for their support. If you missed part of the show or want to hear it again, it's available on demand on our YouTube channel and on our website, nepm.org/413Christmas. You might even be generous and share it with a friend. Thank you for listening and happy holidays.